Hey guys, and welcome to the 9th video in this tutorial series. This one's going to be fairly short as we're just going to be doing animations for text as a warning before a game event occurs. Let's not waste any more time and just go right into the editor now. Okay, so we are in the editor now and we're just going to go over to our scripts folder and then create a new folder, and this one is going to be called UI. We'll open that one up and then we'll create a new script and we'll call this one text drawer. And that one's going to handle drawing the text down here as a warning. Now we're going to go to our prefabs and create another new folder with the same name, not a C# script. We're just going to create a new folder and it's going to be called UI. And then here we're going to create a new prefab, and this one's going to be called the event text. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're going to be creating a new event object in here so that we can make it our event text prefab. So we'll go up to our canvas right now, and then we'll go to UI, and then we'll hit text. So over here we're going to need to go with our bottom side stretch to stick it down, to anchor it to the bottom. And I'm just going to type in the rest of our values. So for our font size, we're going to go with 38, except that shouldn't matter because we're going to go with best fit anyway. So we're going to go with 10 and 40. And for the text, we're just going to have it say analyst form incoming. For the color, I'm going to copy this color, go over here, and paste it in here, and then we're going to go over here and set the position of it. So 45 here, its height's going to be 45, right should be 0, and we need to center it. So that is about how it should look. So we're going to go ahead and drag this onto our event text, and then delete it. And we want to set this to inactive off start. And that's all we have to do into the editor. So we're going to go over here and open our text drawer script now. Okay, so in our text drawer script, we're going to have to write a few static members. So we'll write static text, event text, and we need to write using Unity Engine .ui like that. And now we're gonna have to do static int num strobe blinks equals 10. Static floats strobe blink delay equals 0.3f. Static float bottom offset equals 45. Static mono behavior text drawer. Okay, now we're going to jump down here and write a couple functions. The first thing we're going to write is private static void instantiate event text. Oops. Instantiate event text. Here we're going to write game object prefab equals resources dot load. And then here we're going to write game object. Alright, my Visual Studio is being weird, so I'm going to restart it here. Okay, sorry about that. I wasn't detecting classes from Unity. Anyway, so now I'll write, in here I'll write prefabs / UI / event text. And the reason why we're just instantiating this instead of using our object pooler like we did before is because there's only going to be one of these in the entire game. So, and we know that, so we don't need to pool it. Be a waste of memory because we're already just storing it once anyway. Get component text event text. Oops. Event text. Dot transform. That's set parent. Game object dot find. And again, game object dot find isn't really a good method. We do have another occasion I think where we're using where we're finding the canvas. And if we're going to use it, we should at least have the canvas stored somewhere. But for now, we're just going to be using game object dot find. And again, the purpose of this is because every rect transform has to be a child of the canvas, otherwise it's not going to show on the screen. Now we're going to write rect transform rt equals event text dot component rect transform and rt dot offset max is new vector2 0 and rt dot offset max dot y, so we don't have to change that one because we can't change the x and the y individually. You have to change the entire vector2. So rt dot anchor position equals new vector2 0 and bottom offset. And so this will first instantiate our event text, and then it'll position it properly. Okay, so now we have to write our draw event text function, which is our main function in this script. You could say draw event text string text event text animation. And I forgot I did not write the event text yet. It's just in enum. We're gonna write it here. So public enum or enum text event text, and we're gonna have strobe and fade. In this tutorial we're only going to be doing the strobe. Later on, once we add more features, we'll have like a fade effect on the text. But yeah, we'll write our script here now. Event text text equals text. If you're not familiar with enums, it's basically a way of making multiple, like it's basically a way of making like multiple choices. You'll see in a second. So switch animation, we'll do case event text, oops, text, oh right, actually we're using event text like this, dot strobe, so we're checking the type of animation basically. So event text dot game object dot set active, not event text dot game object dot active self. So basically we're setting it to the opposite. We're basically toggling its activity. So here I'm gonna write for int I equals 1, and we're starting at 1 because we just did 0 here. So we're basically skipping the 0 because we want to flash it once without a delay. And you'll see why we're doing that like this in just a second. And I plus plus. And text drawer dot start coroutine game controller dot call after time. And we're gonna write delegate event text dot game object dot set active, not event text dot game object dot active self. So that was the same thing. So we could have copied and pasted, but we didn't. And that's semicolon. And then after this delegate, we need to put in a time. So strobe blink delay times I, so that it's actually based on how far we are in, so that it'll delay properly. Anyway, so now we're going to do break. Then we'll do a case event text dot fade, but we won't write anything in here yet except for just a break. And we'll do the same with the default just because. And now the script should be almost done. We still have to do our start function. So we're going to write in here instantiate event text like that, and then text drawer equals this. And we're only using the text drawer so that we can actually call the start coroutine function here, because you need a mono behavior reference to do so. And I forgot a semicolon here. Okay, let's maximize this. And we do not need an update function. And now we should be ready for the script to be done. So we're going to move on to event. And in here we're going to have a public event text variable. Event text effect. And of course we have to put all this in our constructor so that we can make it in as the same way that we did with everything else. Okay, so now that's good, and we can move on to our event controller. And yeah, we need to fix the constructor there. So going over here, we're going to write event text dot strobe, and we're going to have to rewrite our whole like events controlling, because like there's a little design flaw that we need to fix. So let's go into our call next event right now, and we'll just fix stuff up here. The first thing we're going to do actually is create a new function. Call this one get next event. And I have insert on again. I keep setting this thing on for some reason. Anyway, in here we're going to write return events.element at random.range 0 and events.count. And dot value. This will just return a random event as we planned before, but just in a cleaner way. So now we're going to do begin event. Oh right, first we need to pass an event in here, current event. And then over here we're going to do event next event equals get next event. And here we're going to call next event, and that should be good. And we also need to do this. Alright, create event in here, and then we're going to do a start coroutine to call our visual in here so that it prints out our strobing text. And to do that, we're just going to write text drawer in here dot draw event text next event dot text and next event dot text effect. Close that off. And here we're going to write next event time minus warning offset. And we did not yet write warning offset, so that's my bad. So we'll write a public static float warning offset equals 5. This is going to be how much sooner it's going to call the next event, or the text before the event is called. So here we'll go down here, and it's going to be minus warning offset. Okay. And what is the problem here? Event is string. Yeah, so we need to change this to run an event as well. So we'll also have you say event current event, and we should be ready in this one, so we can get rid of this comment here. And then we can go over to our begin event function, and we're just going to write current event.start. Oops. Now we want to start coroutine of the current event for current event.length. And that should be just about it for our design there. And in here we're going to have to change our start function. So first thing I'm going to do is print an error like this, and I'm going to copy this part over. Basically, if our cooldown minimum between like the next event, so if the delay between the next event is shorter than the warning offset, then we want to say that it's too short and it has to be longer, so that there's no weird error with printing the warning offset like too soon, something like that. Anyway, so that's just a simple thing to make it easier for me to remember that. And now we're just going to write the rest of this that's going on here. So our float event next time is going to be fine, but we're going to have to write event next event equals get next event. And then we're going to change this start coroutine to the next event. And that should be good. Next event time, yep. Now we're going to do another start coroutine, so we'll copy this one down. And this is just going to print our text. So we can copy this over. It's just text drawer. Basically just drawing the text the same way we did, using next event.text and the text effect, and then we're doing it minus the warning offset to print it earlier. The other thing I changed actually was I made it so that the next event time would be the current event.length plus this, so that we didn't have any weird errors with having events happen at the same time. This way they'll just be based on, the time will just be like how long after the current event ends. So now we should be all set, I think, for everything. So if I'm not mistaken, we should be able to just go into the editor and fix everything, and test the program now. Okay, back in the editor, and we can just go to our game controller right now, and I'm going to change these cooldowns to 6 to make it faster, and we won't have that error because we changed it to be based on how long the event was. So it's going to do 6 seconds after our first event ends. So now we're going to go ahead and add in our text drawer here, and I believe we should be able to just get started now. So if it's 6 seconds, we can see our nanoswarm incoming right there. However, where did the timer go? Did I set this to inactive? That was interesting. Anyway, but yeah, so it'll beep nanoswarm incoming, and now our nanoswarm's here. It gave us that proper warning, and we should be able to see this happen a second time. I'm just going to dodge as many lasers as I can here, and there I get 100 points because it ended. And since the cooldown is so short, the nanoswarm incoming happens 5 seconds in advance, and there we go. They're back again, trying to kill me. Anyway, so that's going to be it for this episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope it helped. But make sure to hit that like button if this helped you or if you liked it, and hit the subscribe button for the rest of the series. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.